Okay, today we're going to install the Outerimpact red dot adapter on the Glock. You can see here it is. So let me stop the film here real quick. I'll take it all apart and I'll show you how to install it. Alrighty, so we have our parts here, but before we install the Outerimpact red dot on the firearm, we need to first test it with the red dot we choose. So in this case, we're choosing a Trijicon RMR. This would be a Trijicon RMR. We are going to consult the chart, which you should see right now. And when we get that chart, whoops, that's backwards. Let's get this on the right way. We'll figure out which holes we're going to end up using. And we also are going to need to get our pins. So we'll get our pins out, ready to go. These are our little alignment pins, so we have those. All right, we're dropping everything here. All right, let's get this back together. Okay, so we'll take our alignment pins, we'll put them in the right holes. In this case, these pins are tiny, so let's see if we can get a hold of them here. This hole here is what the chart says, and this hole right here, if you can see that all right. And then we're gonna put on our red dot sight, and that locks into place. And you can see that's on now. And we'll hold that in place and we'll put our screws in. And we'll grab a screw there, drop that in, and then we'll use our Allen head. In this case, I think it's a 5/64, so I'll double check that. So let's get these in, screw these in. So we're seeing them blocking the shot there a little bit. Yeah, so this is a 5/64, so we put it in. The thing we want to check, the reason that we're installing this first, is we want to check to make sure that these screws right here don't go below the base. Because if they go below the base, then obviously they're going to run into the slide of your Glock, and you don't want that because that's going to probably scratch it all up. So now that we know that these fit correctly, we'll remove them. So we'll unscrew these. Yeah, get that one out of the way. Let's see here. Yep, I get that out of the way. All right. Now we can remove the red dot from the sight and the pins. We need to get the pins off too. There we go. So now the red dot gets removed, and now we're ready to install the red dot adapter on the gun itself. All right, so the next step here, we have a slide off our Glock. Of course, this is definitely not loaded and safe to work on. You can also work on it on your gun, just make sure that it's not loaded, but I find it easier just to remove the slide. So we now are going to put our dovetail in. First thing we do, we locate our dovetail right here. It'll be in the packaging marked DVT. We slide it in until we can't push it any further. We see about how far it goes in. Then we take this, which is a dead blow hammer. Notice the soft ends. And we go ahead and we persuade it into place. Okay, I know what you might be thinking. Why in the world is this guy using a dead blow hammer to install this sight adapter? And the truth of the matter is, it's all I had at the time of shooting this video. That being said, it's important that first off, we take it to a gunsmith. If a gunsmith's not available, then you can use a Glock sight installation tool. Those work awesome. If that's not available, we recognize that some people are going to have to improvise. And you know, that's what we did here. We improvised. We had a dead blow hammer available. We took our time. We were cautious about installing the sight adapter. And it actually, in the end, worked out really well. This one, I've put in a few times, so it's getting a little looser. All right, we're going to get this. There it is. So now we have the dovetail centered in the slide, and we can take our red dot adapter and we can place it. You'll notice there's going to be a place for these pins that are sticking out of the dovetail here. They'll line right up on the dovetail, or excuse me, on the red dot adapter, and then we kind of push that in place. You can hear how that almost snaps into place, and then your screws are already lined up. So we take our T10 Torx. You can't even really see these, they're so small, but these little guys right here, they're also in your DVT packaging. along with, like I said, the dovetail and your pins as well. All right, so we'll grab this, and we'll grab this screw right here. And then all I have on hand right now is the torque wrench, so we'll just kind of, so all I'm doing is I'm just snugging these down. All right. And so now I just have them to where they're snug on the dovetail. And now we'll start our torquing. So this torque wrench is adjustable. It is adjusted in inch-pounds, super important. If you're in foot-pounds, you will destroy this. We're gonna adjust it down for our first torque setting to about 15 inch-pounds. All right, if you can see that all right. All right. Tighten this down until I hear a click. There we go, let's do it again. All right, and then we're gonna move this up to 20 inch-pounds. And that's 20. We'll do the same thing again. Make sure everything's in there nice and tight, and that we're tightening them. That was a double there, sorry about that. We'll be tightening them equally. And so that's all we're trying to do here. All right, so I'll move this up to 25. This is our final torque setting, 25 inch-pounds. There we go. All right, so now the red dot adapter is torqued to the right specification and it's on your slide. Now we're on to our final step. So we have our red dot adapter mounted to our slide. The next thing we're gonna do is find a red dot. In this case, we're using an RMR. We wanna grab our pins, and we've already figured out where these pins are supposed to go based on the directions that you should be seeing on the video right now. All right, so now we have our pins in place. You can see the pins are where they should be as referenced in the alignment chart. Now we'll take, I always want to put that on backwards. Now we'll take our red dot. We're gonna slide those holes right over those pins. Somewhere in there, there it is. So now they're on the pins. The next step is we'll take our screws, which again we've identified off the chart. We'll drop those into place and we will screw them down. Now we've already checked to make sure these screws are not going to go below the red dot adapter and go into the slide. All right, so here we go. Tighten those down. All right, now we have a red dot adapted to the Outerimpact red dot adapter for the Glock.